want to promote your business? Do you want to talk about your nonprofit organization? Do you want to talk about your culture? Introducing the online web TV, Afrique Today. We are live every Sunday at 3 p.m. You can watch us live at the same time on 4 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and using the Afrique Today app. Download our app today for Android or Apple. Promote your business today. For more information, go to www.afriquetoday.com. Afrique Today, the best of digital TV.
In today's world, video is the most effective content. In 2021 alone, 80% of all content consumed by users was video. If today you don't make video about yourself, about your product, you're losing positions in your business. Afrique Today Production invites you to create a video of any complexity. Are you an aspiring blogger, artist, musician, and you want to surprise your audience? Or are you an ordinary person and want to create a family story? Then our team will be able to create a video for you with unique quality, reported shooting, individual shooting, studio shooting, entertainment videos, corporate events. All this we can do for you in the best quality. Just call now and get a 30% discount at 571-612-0496. 571-612-0496. Afrique Today, the best of digital TV.
Live yet. I hope that we'll get a cue if we're live or not.
Do you want to promote your business? Do you want to talk about your nonprofit organization? Do you want to talk about your culture? Introducing the online web TV, Afrique Today. We are live every Sunday at 3 p.m. You can watch us live at the same time on 4 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and using the Afrique Today app. Download our app today for Android or Apple. Promote your business today. For more information, go to www.afriquetoday.com. Afrique Today, the best of digital TV.
In today's world, video is the most effective content. In 2021 alone, 80% of all content consumed by users was video. If today you don't make video, but
Evening, and welcome to a beautiful Friday evening, which, I mean, the weather is unbelievable with when we've had so much other stuff. And I want to welcome you to the voice of AAU. I am your host, Dr. Yvette Butler-Yaboa, and my co-host,
The Invisible Man.
and I hope you've missed us because we have a wonderful program for you today, and we're happy to see you again. I have to say, I've been away on the motherland, the continent of Ghana. We were hoping to do some shows from that continent, but with the timing, it was a little difficult. But next time, we'll be on point to make sure that we bring everything to you from the motherland. Now, we have a great program today. Now, today we're really here to talk quickly and briefly about an upcoming event that is really important to everyone to know about. But one of the things, as people look at celebrating and beginning to celebrate Passover, and those who have just finished celebrating Ramadan, we want to say happy holidays, all the festivities to all those who celebrate. But we have to really think about the Black Holocaust and remember what that's all about. So we have unbelievable guests here today. But as we always do, before we bring our guest on, we're going to show you a quick video of what to expect. And mark your calendars for this Sunday, and also what to attend to. So today we're not going to be here for an hour. We're going to be a quick show. So that's why I try to get to everything so quickly. So please show this video clipping of what's going on this Sunday. And then we're going to be here to talk about that with one of the most important people about this event. Can we show the video, please?
We're waiting on the video.
Yes, I think we're waiting on the video.
Okay. Well, I'll say a few. Go ahead.
I'm not sure if I'm wondering if the video's playing, because earlier it was playing, another video was playing and we couldn't see it. So
yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if we're waiting for the video. But as we wait for that video, let's go ahead and let's introduce our guest, and then we'll bring that video back if there's any technical difficulties. So our invisible man is going to be here today. One day you'll see him. I keep telling you, one day you'll see our invisible man. I'm not going to tell you when, but you will be able to see him one day. So I would like for our invisible man to introduce our esteemed guest today, who I am so delighted to see again. And I want to thank so much for coming on our show, especially at this late hour. So please, Professor Zaire, could you introduce our guest?
Okay. Again, I'm the Invisible Man, Professor Zaki, and the guest today is Assistant Chief Justice Mustafa Salim. He educated himself and attended Northeast Louisiana State and Mercer, where he studied business, management, administration, and political science. He also hung out with one of the giants back in the day, Dr. Joseph Lowry. He has activities in terms of founding or co-founder of the Coalition for Equal Justice. And I think that's all I want to say. I'll just say, let him begin talking about himself and Black Holocaust Remembrance Day. Hello, sir.
Peace be unto you all.
Thank you. Peace be unto
Thank
you.
you, sir.
So go ahead with the first question. What is Black Holocaust Remembrance Day?
Well, before we get to that, let's have the Minister Salim tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay.
Because our invisible man said, I'm gonna let you tell it. Please tell us about yourself so that we can so that our audience could know exactly how esteemed the person we're dealing with today. And before we get into the meat of the matter.
Very good, very good. I'm happy to be here with you, and I'm esteemed myself to be in your presence. I was born in a little small place called Tallulah, Louisiana. It was so
Yeah.
small that it was called a village. Didn't have enough people to even become a town yet. And by the time I was 15, I had made a transition from one religion to another. I became Muslim and I became a student minister. After becoming student minister, I graduated up to minister. And in 1979, I came to Atlanta, Georgia. I was dispatched from Los Angeles, California, to start a temple. And we opened the temple within 2 years of my coming to Atlanta. And it is the headquarters for the Lost Foundation of Islam, even to this very day. I'm a justice on an Afro-descended nation, assistant to the chief, and I am also assistant chief minister on the religious side. So I have a well-rounded understanding about religion and politics, and what's the relationship between the two.
Well, let me ask you, you said politics, and I don't want to get into politics, but we will talk about Black Holocaust Remembrance. But what, I don't know if you watched it. We have our first Black Supreme Court Justice, which is amazing. After 230 plus odd years been in existence. Did you watch any of the hearings at all? And
I watched.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I did watch quite a few of them, and I did mostly recapping, but I did get a chance to see the questions that were being asked and how they were trying to trap her into putting forth a philosophy. And they know that that's detrimental to a justice to come into the court with a preordained philosophy. But they kept probing, and she kept hanging on. So I was proud of the fact that she was able to withstand the pressure.
Now, a question that I have, because, we're going to be talking about Black Holocaust Remembrance. And what happened when she was confirmed? Really, I look at that as being a repeat of the Holocaust. And when I say that, how a certain group just got up and just walked out and just, basically, that was the most disrespectful thing for us and for me as a Black woman. I felt it was so disrespectful. Could you give us just a little insight on what on that and how you felt and what do you think that was about?
This is a problem that I noticed some years ago. They have a system that is designed to promote you up and out. Saw it very clearly with Thurgood Marshall, Justice Thurgood Marshall. He was one of my heroes. And he had won over 40 cases, practiced before the U.S. Supreme Court. And he was very successful as an attorney. And when he got on the Supreme Court, he had one vote. And he was always outvoted. Unfortunately, we have to contend with being the first. We have to contend with being the only, being the one. There is no equality of any kind when it comes to economics, when it comes to ownership of real estate, when it comes to being who we are, being the best that we can be. We don't have equality. And that's the problem with the Holocaust. We've been wanting to have equality, justice. It's not for us.
Now, as you say that, I want you to tell us a little bit about, because for me, because that really ties right into what Black Holocaust Remembrance Day is. And could you tell us a little bit more about what this day is and how impactful it is for us as Black folks, and how it, some of the similarities of things that are going on around the world that we should think about. So please, could you tell us a little about what the Black Holocaust Remembrance Day is?
Well, we use the term Holocaust because it's a term that most of us can relate to, because we were living in the 20th century, and the Jews pinned the phrase, the Holocaust, on the conditions that they were under by being subjected to Nazi Germany. They just 2005, January 27th, the International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And the Jews are the ones who coined the phrase Holocaust. But what is the Black Holocaust? Their Holocaust lasted for maybe about 5 years. Our Holocaust lasts, if you count this past April 1st, 467 years that we've been subjected to mass, deliberate, and systematic racism. The same kind of racism that the Jews were faced with is the same kind of racism that we face, religious, cultural, and linguistically. We are absent our human rights. And we want to recognize the fact that we had ancestors who lived through that period. They actually endured gerrymandering, discrimination in housing, the voting laws and so forth that they used to keep the people vote from counting. All of those things our ancestors lived through. They didn't read about it. They made a history of it. And so we honor them. We give thanks for their fight, their spirit. We wanted them to remember. I want our people to remember what we fought for. I'd like to bring us back to square one. When we first landed on these shores, our cry, our plea, our plight was to return home. We have been here for 467 years. How do we get back home? And what do we take back home when we leave? This idea of the Holocaust remembrance is so that we will have an idea, be connected with, and have a conscious level that puts us in the mindset that our forefathers were in during their time on this earth. We are here to commemorate them, not to celebrate, but to commemorate. Because what we want to do is we want to be in the same mind frame that they were in. And that's what we're trying to do with Black Holocaust, is recognize them, celebrate them, memorialize them.
Now, when we talk about Black Holocaust Remembrance Day, what we're going through right now, how much difference has it been from our forefathers? Because some of the killings that are still happening day in and day out, especially to Black folks, how different is it from back then to now, as well as the gerrymandering? Because we see what's happening right now politically, and we're going backwards instead of forward. So can you tell me, what are some of the similarities? What are some of the differences? And how far have we really come? And how far do we have to go?
Well, let's take a look at what made the Jews' condition a Holocaust. They used gas, fire to ignite the Jewish people in mass, in great numbers. And it was done by the government.
Mhm.
Our situation is pretty much the same in that we were not just gassed, we were hung on trees, we were castrated, we were raped. But more significantly than being killed physically, we were annihilated culturally. Linguistics, our language was taken away from us. Our culture was taken away. Well, the Jewish people had their attack upon their culture. They had an attack upon their religion and on their race. So even to this very day, they still have to face what you call white supremacists. White
Yes.
supremacists, the same as we do. If the Jews could go to the UN and claim for themselves a right to a homeland, then we too should be able to go to the UN and proclaim for ourselves a homeland. One of the problems that we have is that we were waiting and have been waiting on the government to change the way it operates to the point where they will give us freedom, justice, and equality. But how long can we continue to wait? How long did we wait on Justice Jackson? How long did it take us to get to where she became the first Black woman? 230 years?
230 years. Yep.
We're not so patient anymore. We've been patient long enough. I have lived through at least 2 generations of promises, of this spinning things around to make them look rosy,
Yes.
make it look like we are really making progress.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've made some progress individually, but we're dealing with a collective consciousness.
Correct, correct.
What we want to do through the Black Holocaust Remembrance is to give you an understanding about what you have experienced. We've all experienced the same thing at one level or another. For some,
Yes.
it was like a past so far long ago that let bygones be bygones. Just forget about it. It happened,
Yes.
so what? Some people are in the middle. They feel it and they think about it, they teach about it, they talk about it, and they keep alive the experience of it. But then there was some of us that it was yesterday for some of us. It didn't happen a
Yes.
long time ago. It happened to me yesterday. And that's the feeling that I have. My physical person, wasn't there when they hung us on trees, when they brought us over here on those ships. I wasn't here yet physically. But my collective consciousness is there because in me is the same thing that was in my mother and my father's generations ago. They wanted to return home. That's what I want, is to return home.
Well, I'll tell you, I did say I just got back from Ghana. And so I tell everybody, the president of Ghana has welcomed us back. And I'm telling everybody, come back, because I'm going to tell you honestly, when you land on, almost anywhere on the continent, but Ghana particularly, you really feel welcome. And they say Akwaba means welcome. And it feels so good to every day wake up in the morning and see people who look like you, see people who You don't have to worry about looking over your shoulder. And one thing that actually has happened, a lot of stars went to Ghana in the last couple of years. And well, I'll say before COVID hit, but now that it is lightening up some and people are traveling again. And I've been there since the COVID epidemic 3 times to the continent. And I will tell you, it's a different environment. When you get off that plane and when you see the people, and also one of the biggest things is Steve Harvey had said something just recently. I just want to make this note, and I tell everybody, he said, being Black in America is dangerous. It's just dangerous. You have to worry about every day when you go out the door if you're going to come back safe. If a police is going to stop you, if there's going to be a shooting, something's going to happen, you have to worry about coming home safe. In
Yes.
Ghana, there was no worries about that. If the police stop you, they'll stop you, give you a ticket, or basically say, okay, well, you paying for, you give them like $100 bill or whatever. But guess what? You never ever think about being shot and killed. You never think about being harmed by the police or your fellow brother and sister who's walking next to you. And it's just such an amazing experience to have the freedom that you feel. And I tell people that every time I go and I come back, I feel like, first when I go there, I feel like I'm free. It feels like I'm truly free to do what I want to do, go where I want to go, and say what I want to say. And unfortunately, every time I come back, I feel like there's something just pushing on me. And I think a lot of people who have been to the continent and had that experience have felt that. So I'm planning on having a dual citizenship and going back and forth and living in both continents, and definitely spending a lot of my majority time, if not all, on the motherland. And so I welcome you to come on back home. They're welcoming you home. So if you're looking for a home, Africa has plenty of land for us. And remember, that is where our ancestral roots are coming from. That's where we came from. But I don't want to go back into that one. I want to know more about the Black Holocaust and what is the significance of its commemoration, and why should we celebrate? I think you said a little bit about that, but is it truly a celebration?
No, it's not really a celebration. It's more of a commemoration.
Okay.
And the idea of a Holocaust is to eliminate a people. That's the idea of it. Well, that's what was done to us. We were eliminated. It's like an atomic bomb was dropped on our land, and everything was destroyed except for us.
Mm-hmm.
But we lost all of the consciousness that we had of relating to this land where we once were. We don't speak the language of the people that are there. We don't even know exactly from where we came. And this has never been done to a people before. At no time in the course of the human history have a people's memory, collective memory, been wiped clean off of their minds.
Correct.
It's called ethnocide. It's what it's called. It's a form of cultural genocide. It's genocide that the Jews used as a means of establishing the Holocaust. Well, we're utilizing ethnocide as a means of our right under the UN Charter to have human rights and have respected our condition and what happened to us. I feel for the people in Ukraine, but the Ukrainians have been fighting the Russians for almost a century, back and forth with each other. So they know what to expect. They are fighting for their freedom of their land. When will we fight for a piece of this earth that we can call our own? We are a stateless people. We are a nation for sure. We are cultural. I have a cultural identity. Now, we have a political and an international identity called Afro-descendants. Afro-descendants is who we are today, and we made this choice. Some 19 different nations got together and made a decision about their identity. If you know, we've been suffering from a crisis in identity, being this, that, and the other, being African American, being Afro American, being Negro, being colored person, being nigger, all of these different cultural problems that we've had with our identity. We don't know whether we want to be white or what. We've gone through all of this. It's unholy that what has happened to us.
I want
It
to
really,
jump in. I want to jump
yes.
in.
Mhm.
Should we be sad about what happened to us in terms of the Middle Passage and all of the things that brought us to America?
We shouldn't be sad. We should be reinvigorated when we think about our ancestors.
Yes.
We should be more conscious of each other and the struggles that we have with being in this society. We should be more loving of ourselves. We should learn from the past so that we don't continue to repeat the future. And until we start to teach our children in schools what we are, who we are, how we got here, where we're trying to go, then we really will be repeating this cycle over and over and over and over again. Like I say, I've lived through 2 whole generations to see how we get duped into believing the trick. It's the same old soup, just warmed over. We're gonna do better. We're gonna treat you right. We're gonna end this racial divide. It keeps getting wider and wider and wider to this very day. It's so polarizing that
Yeah.
it's polarizing, and it's causing problems even in the home. It was
Yes.
looked at down through time that we would have these kinds of problems in our homes. Father turning against son, mother against daughter. It's polarizing because nobody wants to do right. It would be right to give to us a place that we can call our own so that we can create a system of government that will provide for us freedom, justice, and equality. We can get it from ourselves. But as long as we keep waiting around dealing with these people here and this government here, I don't care who the president is, it's not going to change. It's not going to change for us because the society is bent on this kind of thinking and application of those processes that will bring the results that they desire, just like they're doing with the voting rights and the like right
Yes.
today.
Yep.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying you're correct on that because I don't see in my lifetime a change really happening in this country. And one of the things we've been looking at is it really kind of happened a little bit when the whole George Floyd, the entire world saw what happened. So they made Chauvin the sacrificial lamb, but only because, and many people don't know this because they didn't show it in our media, the African countries went to our embassies there and demanded that Black Americans be treated fairly. How could you murder someone in the streets like that? And not until they start really pressing in the international focus. And what they showed on TV here was all the European countries going and so on, but they didn't tell us about how strong our Black brothers and sisters on the continent supported us in getting justice. So if something wouldn't have happened, it would have been a little chaotic, I think. And I think that kind of woke people up. But the unity of us coming together collectively, our brothers and sisters on the continent, as well as those here, we have to unify. Unity is going to change what happens to us here. If the continent is strong, we'll be strong. And that's what I saw happen when the whole sacrificial lamb was put out to play. And I say that, because George, he was just a sacrificial lamb, Chauvin, because nothing's happened to any of the police officer who's shot and killed blatantly a Black person from that point on to now. So I think we have to really work together collectively with our brothers and sisters. And I think we can make a difference if that does happen. But a question I do have, because before I was like, why hasn't the commemoration gained more publicity? Why, just can you explain that?
Part of the reason is, as like I said earlier, we wait on government to act on our behalf. Instead of us acting on our own behalf, come hell or high water, don't care what nobody else say or thinks about what we're doing to commemorate our own. Part of the reason that is because we don't want to offend our white people.
Well, I tell you, I love Africa because every time I go, I come back with a different sense of just, hey, I can care less. I can, and I think more of us need to go and get that experience, because we're too complacent here. We're complacent, and I'm hoping that we stop being as complacent.
Can I jump in?
Yes.
Okay. What I wanted to say was the Holocaust for us has been hundreds of years, and the Holocaust for that they say the international Holocaust.
Do that again. I'm sorry. I was offline.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about the difference in the Holocaust for us and what is known as International Holocaust Day. For those other people, it began in 1933 and ended in May of 1945, the 8th of May. But even the definition of Holocaust is a bit tainted, just like when we use words in English, which is not our native original language.
Correct.
We lose a lot. But I know we're about to run out of time, so 2 real quick questions, sir.
Okay.
The last one is last, but so this is the second to the last question. How can we commemorate our ancestors on this day, Black Holocaust Remembrance Day? And the last question is, what would you like to leave with our audience?
To answer your first question, make it a day of peace. A day when you try your very best not to get into an argument with anyone, to seek out to understand your Black brothers and sisters and what they're going through.
Yes.
Just because life for you or me may be somewhat comfortable, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of us who hardly have enough food to eat on a daily basis.
Yep.
We've got to understand that we have been in and are still in hell. This is hell for us. And remember the sacrifices that our forefathers made on our behalf and the spirit that they infused inside of us. so that we will be a better people, a people who love one another before we love those who are against us.
Yes.
That is something that I'd like to see happen.
And please tell us, what words would you like to leave our audience? And then we're going to show the video, because we really need to understand Black Holocaust Remembrance Day. And we need more people to be there.
Remember this. You have a legal right, a legal, internationally protected right to self-determination. That's what I'd like to leave with the audience. You have a right. You just have to demand it.
Well, I want to thank Minister Salim for coming on today. And this is, I mean, for me, Black Holocaust Remembrance Day is going to be with me forever. I only learned about it just recently. And I want to thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to talk about it today. And for all of our audience out there, please, as Mr. Salim said, remember, that's a day to remember. He's going to leave self-determination. So we're going to show the video, and please mark your calendar. Now, one question I want to, is the event, is it going to be also online, or is it only in person?
No, it's going to be online as well.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So there will be a hybrid format, so we can see it online as well as be there physically. So can we show the video? And I want to thank my co-host, the Invisible Man. I want to thank Mr. Salim for coming on today and really talking about Black Holocaust Remembrance Day, because we should remember. And I tell you, I don't know how long I'll be here in this country on a constant basis, but I am really trying to get back home. And because it's freedom. It is nothing else you can say, but you feel free, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what's happening. You feel so free on the continent, and the worries that we have here on a daily basis aren't even taken into consideration. So please, thank you so much. Again, we show the video, and mark your calendars this Sunday. We would like to see you there. And also, if you can't be there online to learn and be part of Black Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Thank you, Dr. Butler.
Thank you.
Those upon whose shoulders we stand, brought to the Western Hemisphere to be the burden bearers of Europeans as slaves, we fought for survival, overcoming obstacles, becoming abolitionists, architects, astronomers, attorneys, bankers, businessmen and women, educators, farmers, investors, inventors, politicians, preachers, scientists, and revolutionaries. Were it not for our ancestors, we would not be here. The fact that we take the time to honor them is no more than fitting. Think of your own family members that are now part of the ancestors, and remember them and the sacrifices they made, or you too would not be here. Black Holocaust Remembrance Day is to pay respect for those that came before us and upon whose shoulders we stand. This list cannot include everyone, but here are a few. We must never forget whose shoulders we stand on. They are the shoulders of our giants. Roll call: Ahmaud Arbery, Muhammad Ali, Noble Drew Ali, Crispus Attucks, Benjamin Banneker, Mary McLeod Bethune, George Washington Carver, Frederick Douglass, Medgar Evers, George Floyd, Marcus Garvey, Queen Mother Callie House, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Queen Mother Dorothy Lewis, U.S. Representative John Lewis, Toussaint L'Ouverture, Queen Mother Audley Moore, Garrett Morgan, the Honorable Elijah and Sister Clara Muhammad, Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Gabriel Prosser, Paul Robeson, Emperor Haile Selassie, Emmett Till, Breonna Taylor, Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, Sojourner Truth, Denmark Vesey, David Walker, Booker T. Washington, Ida B. Wells, Malcolm X.
Do you want to promote your business? Do you want to talk about your nonprofit organization? Do you want to talk about your culture? Introducing the online web TV, Afrique Today. We are live every Sunday at 3 p.m. You can watch us live at the same time on 4 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and using the Afrique Today app. Download our app today for Android or Apple. Promote your business today. For more information, go to www.afriquetoday.com.